Welcome back to Reviews. I'm Jason, and today we have the BLON BL03s, where fit matters. Disclaimer before we start the review: this review unit was provided to me by Brian, and he bought this pair with his own money, and so this review is completely of my own opinion. I'm not affiliated to any store or any brand of such the kind. Okay, so we'll start off with the TLDR. Just to summarize it, I think the BLON BL03s, even in 2020, are still quite good. Actually, they're excellent. It's an understatement to just say that they're good. They're excellent. They're not the most technically proficient. They're not the best sounding, but they strike the best balance between the two. And I love them for that. The only thing that I hate is the fit. I hate the fit. Okay, now we'll just go into the review and start with sound. So we start off from going from the bass. So bass is big on the BLON BL03s. If you don't like bass, avoid. Jason top tip: avoid. If you don't like bass, don't bother getting the BLON BL03s, because the blondes have big bass. They have big slam, big punch, and yeah, the bass isn't the fastest around. It's definitely on the middle to slower side of things, and yeah, it does get muddled up a bit sometimes when you listen to very fast music, something like Dragon Force and such. So if you like fast music, you don't like big bass, avoid the blondes. But if you like to listen to top 40 songs, or you just like big bass, get these. And they're not low quality bass either. They definitely have good texture and resolution in the bass. Now going to the mid-range, because of this big emphasis in the bass, the mid-range is quite warm. Male vocals, they're quite weighty. Actually, for me, the male vocals are maybe a bit too thick. I would like them to be a bit thinner, but that's what you get if you like that. Especially when you listen to lower quality recordings, that might actually come in handy. If you listen to old time rock and roll and stuff, this might actually save you. But the mids are on the thicker side of things for male vocals. Female vocals are also quite thick, and surprisingly, one of the characteristics that I love of the blondes are the upper mids in the blondes are not shouty. They're just there. They're never really sibilant or anything of the kind. They're never behind the mix. They're just there. Female vocals definitely sound nice on these. They're just soft, they're weighty, they're nice. Instruments also sound nice, but guitars and such can sound a bit too thick, personally. But I do think that this is better than just having too thin of mids. So I would say overall the mids sound nice, maybe a bit too thick, but nice. Detail isn't the best, definitely. I think something like the Tin T2 easily beats this out in terms of detail and resolution in the mids, but I think they're still quite good. Separation is also not the best in the mid-range, but yeah, you can only get so much. Now going to the treble, unlike other Chi-Fi products in this price range, we're talking $20, isn't emphasized. So the blonde sounds a bit like a V shape, but it isn't really. The treble isn't as emphasized as you would expect. Treble is there. It's not too much, not too little. It's just there. There's nothing really special with the treble. It doesn't extend the furthest. It definitely rolls off, I think, about 12K. I guess. My hearing isn't that sensitive after 10K. Can't really tell much after 10K. I definitely can't hear anything above 17, 18-ish K, because I've damaged my hearing. But treble is never an issue with me, for me, on the blondes, and I'm treble sensitive. And they're on the softer side of things. It's a bit hazy, there's not much detail in the treble, but cymbals just don't splash, and they're there. They're not the best, definitely, but for long listening sessions, you will love these. especially if you listen to bad recordings, or if you just want to chill out, you know, listen to some YouTube videos and such. It might come in handy. But yeah, treble is not the best. It's not the big selling point of the blondes. Alright, so now we're going to soundstage and imaging. So soundstage on the blondes isn't the biggest. So I have a bit of small piece of paper here. So the soundstage on the blondes, I think if this were my head, I think the blondes would be about this size. It's not exactly on my head, it's quite inward around here. And the center image that I'm able to perceive is it's about in the middle or further back of my head. So if this was my nose and this was the center of my head, it would be about here. The blondes are not the most expansive sounding IEMs around. They're definitely more congested compared to anything. And imaging is okay. It's not the best in imaging also. It has 45-ish degree accuracy, which sounds bad, but it really isn't. It's just that because of the small soundstage, it's kind of hard to really determine where sounds are coming from accurately. You can definitely tell the general direction of them, but not to a certain amount of accuracy. Okay, so now that we've talked about soundstage imaging, I think just to add a bit more to the conclusion, I think the blondes are just, they're a nice sounding pair of IEMs. Their tonality with a fair bit of technicalities, and I think especially for the price, they're absolutely amazing. And yeah, and if you've never heard a good pair of IEMs, if you thought maybe the MH755 was a bit too shouty for you, you don't mind the bass quantity, but you want thicker mids, you can get the blondes. Separation in general isn't the best, and certainly just overall technicalities and speed, it isn't the fastest, but it's good enough. I can't nitpick too much on these. They just sound great in general. Now, now I want to talk about why I said the fit matters. So this is probably the biggest killing point for a lot of people. The blondes are shaped very weirdly. They're they're not exactly straight down looking thing, and especially because you have this ear hook on the cable. By the way, we're now talking about build quality and packaging. Uh, this shape, this nozzle that they have is so short, and you might think, that looks longer than the MS755s. Yeah, but the thing is, the blondes have such a big body here that for some people it just doesn't reach the ear canal. This nozzle just doesn't reach the ear canal. So something that people have done uh, in order to make the nozzle longer is to just simply like cut down ear tips and stack nozzles on top of each other just to make it longer, so that they can insert it into their ear. This will definitely have an effect on sound quality. I don't know how much. I don't really have this problem as much as some other people seem to have, which is a good thing for me. But keep in mind, the fit might not be a thing for you. And don't just try to press these into your ear because they have a vent on the nozzle here. And I think this gets blocked very easily. And if you block these, it will change the sound. Right. So yeah, fit wise, actually you can probably just Google BLON BL03 fit and probably get lots of Google search results complaining about the fit. But if it does fit you, then yeah, by all means, if you're looking for an IEM in this price range or just an IEM that sounds good in general, you can get these. Sure. Okay, now speaking of which, now that I've talked about the fit and the shell, oh by the way, the shell is metal. It's glossy metal. There's like gunmetal gray and silver as an option. I like the gunmetal gray better than the silver version. I've seen the silver version, it just looks more like chrome to me if anything. I like the gunmetal gray more. And it doesn't look like it scratches easily, at least. I haven't tried scratching these, obviously, because these are not mine. Yeah. The cable here seems like just a standard, like, it seems like a standard like 2-pin cable with a angled 3.5 jack. This is a good thing. I like angled 3.5 jacks. You can plug these into your phone without getting them caught on your jeans all the time, which is annoying. Like, I mean, it's an IEM. Why would you want a straight jack, right? Just doesn't make sense. But by the way, the 2-pin connector here is actually it's it's a protruding 2.5-pin 0.78mm connector. So yeah, so I would suggest, just if you want to buy a nicer cable for the blondes, you might want to get ones which have these like recessed male pins, just so that it doesn't become too long and it just doesn't fit your ear properly. That's something to watch out if you want to change the cable. Which, by the way, I forgot to say this, but the ear tips that I'm currently using on the blondes, because these are the ear tips that fit me the best out of the ear tips of the MX755s. These will not come in the box, which we're gonna talk about shortly. And yeah, I've just forgot to mention that earlier in the review. Should have said that earlier. Now, going to the box, so you will be greeted with whatever this is supposed to mean. I have no idea what this is supposed to mean. I mean, I guess this is what blonde is supposed to stand for, but music and dreams, really? I think the company, like the owner of the owner of Blonde, has spoken about, like, they know that this is actually a typo, like not a typo. They know that this is a spelling mistake, but they don't want to correct it because they think it's already part of the brand by now. So yeah, music and dreams. Popoti never give up. So the packaging itself is quite simple. This, if you've ever bought any earphones from TFZ, I guess, this looks very similar. And inside the box, you just get cable, 3 pairs of ear tips, and a bag. So this bag, there's a variety of these bags. So it supposedly depends on the batches that you get them from. So some bags are this sort of like cloth, and others seem like to be of like I can't think of the word right now, but it's just a different material. It doesn't feel like it's made out of cloth. It feels more like it was more of like sewn together piece. I'm not sure. If I remember what it's called, I put it in the description. But anyway, so the ear tips that you get with the blondes, you get like 3 pairs of ear tips. They're just the more generic Chi-Fi ear tips, which are longer than they are wide, I suppose. They're this shape in general, and this just didn't work for me because of how short the nozzle on the blondes are, so my ears just couldn't seal on these, even on the largest size. So yeah, you'll probably have to get some extra ear tips if the blondes just don't seal on your ears. But yeah, that's all you get in the packaging. You get a manual and all, but that's it. And I think there's not much more to say about the blondes. If you, yeah, in general consensus, I like the blondes. I think they're a great $20 purchase. Comparison-wise, there isn't much competition to these. If you just want something that has better technicalities, get a T2. T2, not the T2 Plus, the T2, the turban-shaped one. If you've bought the blondes and you want to have a slightly brighter signature with less bass, and you're fine with the technicalities of the blondes, you can get a T2 Plus, which is twice the price of these. So if you already have the blonde, you don't want to like give out more money, and you just really there isn't a significant upgrade to the blonde BL03s so far, especially with the new BL05s, which I think we'll be making a video of later on. I've heard the BL05s, and I think I still prefer the BL03s. The BL03s are excellent. I like these. They're great. And yeah, if you're looking for a $20 IEM that's already detachable, if you don't want to mod the MS755s, and these fit in your ears, just get them. It's not much more to say. They're the blondes. Look up all the reviews on Hi-Fi. You'll get what I mean. And once you hear it, you realize they're just music and dreams. Anyway, I think that does it for the review. I'll link what Brian thinks of the blondes right about now. And yeah, if you like the video, like it. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. And yeah, leave a comment down below on what you think. See you next time.